Hello, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Divine Femininity United. I am your girl, Miss B, Dr. Bianca, Miss B Lee. I am here to help walk with you. Trust me, I am not exempt from this process, okay? I am here to help walk with you through our forgiveness journey. Oh my goodness, it has been crazy. This thing has been emotionally stretching, mentally stretching, spiritually definitely freeing. Oh my goodness. This process of journeying through forgiveness. We are on day 8 of 21 days to forgive everyone for everything. 21 days to forgive everyone for everything. That is impossible, Miss B. How in the world can we forgive everyone for everything in only 21 days? Let me tell you. It all begins with a decision. We have to decide to want to. And then once we make that decision, everything else follows. Will it be easy? Abso-freaking-lutely not. Okay? Will it be worth it? Yes. Yes, and more yes. You are worth it. Your heart is worth it. Your peace of mind is worth it. Your spirit is worth it. Your emotions are worth it. Your relationships are worth it. Your purpose is worth it. Your family, your children, your spouse is worth it. Yes. Yes, it's worth it. You are worth it. We're worth it. And we're journeying through this together. Y'all already know what I like to say. We are only. I don't care what pedigree we come from, what bank account we have, what status we have, whatever our race is, it doesn't matter. We are all holding each other's hand, walking each other through this process we call life. Okay? We need each other, right? We need each other. So to isolate ourselves or to dismiss ourselves from one another when we need each other during this process. Don't get me wrong. There are some people that have run their course. Okay. What do I mean when I say that? I mean, there are some people that have ended their journey with us and we have ended our journey with them. Not to say that they were a waste of time, because with every interaction comes a lesson, right? So did you gain that lesson? Because if you had not, then trust and believe it's going to find you again. Might be a different connection, but that lesson will find you again. That lesson will come over and over and over until you get the lesson. And then it will go and you'll be on to your next level. I'm not trying to do that over again. I don't know about y'all, but the way my whole everything is set up, I don't want to have to relive lessons over and over. It didn't feel good the first time. Why would I let myself go through it 5 more times? That is crazy. Yet, we seem to be gluttons for punishment. Yet, we seem to be, our pain tolerance seems to be high. So we sit and we accept all of the crazy and we go through all of the foolery. Okay. We do it over and over, time and time again. And we're worth so much more than that. Okay. So before we get deep off into today's topic, y'all already know it's Sunday and we have our Sunday announcements. Okay. So for those who are viewing via YouTube and Twitter, first of all, welcome. Thank you all for coming in. Clubhouse, thank you all for being the OG, triple OG. You all were where Divine Femininity United began. You're the genesis. So we always have good love for you all as well. Okay. But we're going to get into this one announcement. It is a women's retreat that is coming up, and I have to run this commercial really quickly because she, me, her, Dr. Bianca, Miss B Lee, is the keynote for this particular women's retreat. And I am so grateful. I'm honored. After this retreat, I will be able to say I'm an international public speaker, an international therapist, an international coach. Hello, somebody. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I want to run this. And as it's being run on the screen, Clubhouse, I will be communicating with you what's being ran on the screen, and then how you can get involved and get yourself on this trip. Okay. Again, listen, y'all. Listen. When it comes down to investing in your own well-being, this is what investment looks like. Don't get me wrong. If you're inside of the financial capacity and you know what an ROI is, then you know that means return on investment. There's a lot of things that we invest our money, time, strength, energy, all of that stuff into, and we haven't yet to see a return on our investment. This pouring into self, investing into self, signing up for therapy sessions and coaching sessions and going on gatherings and retreats and to get yourself built up spiritually, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically, sexually, because hello, I am a coach in that arena as well. All right, sexual intimacy coach. Yes, okay. All of those things pouring into you so that you can be better. The more you pour into you, the better your results that you emit out of you. All of the things that you do into and give to this universe. Listen, it will pay you back in great dividends. Come on, ROI, right? A bank could never. Hello, I'm just saying. You are the best investment that you have ever made, right? Let's do it. Here's the video for the upcoming Sacred Woman, Spiritual Woman, Sacred Woman retreat on the cruise to Ensenada, Mexico. You all listen, those trips, I was just telling Clubhouse, that trip is only $350 for an in-cabin, an inner ship cabin, $450 for an ocean view, and $550 for a balcony. Come on, $150 only for the deposit. Listen here, you can't beat that with a stick. And we're pulling out of California, okay? You cannot beat that. That is a very small investment. Some of us spend more than that on our hair. Hello, okay? That is gonna have to be washed out. We spend more than that on parties and food and going out to the club. Listen, you haven't gotten the return on your investment on none of that, okay? Pour into yourself. And yes, it is a women's retreat. However, it's a whole entire boat, okay? We're going to be together for one full day out of the entire 4 days. The dates are September 24th through the 28th, okay? September 24th through the 28th. So you know the thermostat, the temperature, the climate is going to be amazing because that's around fall time, you know what I mean? But when we go out to sea, it's going to be amazing. The weather is going to be, oh God, I'm so in need of this and I can't wait. We're going to be stopping by Catalina Island. So all of the days in Ensenada, Mexico, all of the days that we're going to be ashore, all of the days that we're going to be visiting these different places, we're going to leave you with your day. You're going to have your day to explore, to be with your boo. Bring your bae, bring your loved ones, bring your family, bring your moms, your sisters, bring your partners, bring all of them, your girlfriends, bring everyone. Because again, We're only going to be together one day, but we have 4 days to enjoy. So bring the people that you love and get on this trip. $350, $450, $550 with only $150 deposit. That $150 deposit is due by the 26th of this month. That is more than enough time. We've been announcing this cruise for a little over a month now. Okay, get your deposits in and sail away with us. All right, y'all. Listen, are y'all ready? Because that was it. That was it for the church announcements. Are y'all ready? Today is day 8 of forgiveness. How 21 days to forgive everyone for everything. Okay. But first and foremost, because of today's session and the topic and things like that, I want to do some breath work, just a slight breath work, just to kind of ready ourselves. We had day 1 of I forgive myself. Day 2, I forgive my life. Day 3, I forgive my body. Day 4, I forgive God. Day 5, I forgive my mother. Day 6, I forgive my father. Day 7 was I forgive my feelings. Okay. Today, I forgive my weaknesses and failures. Some of us are still locked up right there. Some of us can't get past our weaknesses or can't get past beating ourselves up for our failures. Okay. Not even understanding that those weaknesses, seemingly weaknesses, or those seemingly failures are all lessons of awareness, lessons of expansion, maturity, if we choose to see it that way. But some of us, we're victims to those things. And so much so that we keep repeating those same weaknesses, those same failures over and over again. So today we're gonna face those things, y'all. We're gonna confront them head on, right? And it's going to be difficult. And so a lot of this stuff all of this stuff has been difficult for real. Some may have been triggered, some matters may have triggered you more than others. If you did not view those previous ones, feel free. YouTube, you can go to the YouTube. The information is in the captions. If you're viewing for YouTube, you already know. So go to those archives, go to those previous videos and catch up on those, okay? If you don't have the book, you can definitely inbox me and I'll get the book over to you. It's only $5 for an ebook. Don't worry about it. We'll get it over to you, okay? But I want to ready ourselves for what we're about to go into today, because some of these things are definitely heavy. And yeah, man, we got to be sensitive to ourselves. We got to be kind to ourselves. We got to be caring and considerate of ourselves. And so we can't really just go in and bashing and all of that stuff. We got to give some grace because lessons only come through the circumstances, okay? But we know that we got to go through in order to get to, okay? We got to go through in order to get to. So let's do some quick breath work. It won't take long. It's just a minute or two. I want you to do me a favor and quiet yourself. Get yourself to a place of quiet and stillness. Turn off all distractions, all surrounding noises and things like that. Put your devices to the side. Only my voice. That's the reason why even on video, I don't have my face on there because or my actual live self on there, and I have an avatar simply because we can get distracted sometimes. We can get distracted sometimes by what we're looking at. I need your voice. I just need your voice, okay? Or you just need my voice. That's it. All right. So I want you to take a deep breath in. Hold it 2 seconds and release. Take another deep breath in, hold it and release. One more time. Deep breath in, hold it and release. Now this time, what I want you to do before we take that breath in, I want you to breathe in peace. I want you to breathe in success. I want you to breathe in strength. I want you to breathe in love, self-love, okay? And go. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Take in as much air as you can. Hold it and release. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. You're taking in all the good stuff, all of the good things. Hold it and release, okay? This time when we release, I need you to release anxiety, depression, self-hate, self-loathing, low self-esteem, okay? Failure, the feeling of failing, all right? Incompetence, I want you to release all of those things. Breathe in as much air as you can. And release, release, release all those ugly, nasty things, those things that are a lie, those things that we have told ourselves, those things that other people have said and we have seemingly believed over time, because repetition breeds memorization, memorization breeds patterns and the conditionings and things like that. So we want to release those things one more time. Breathe in. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and release. See yourself a success. See yourself with the peace that you desire. See yourself in so much love with self that nothing can penetrate this love that you have for you. See yourself embracing self. See yourself in learning. See yourself loving yourself. Okay, breathe in one more time and release. Release, release, release. Okay. I needed to do that because we're about to face some things, y'all. And understand that these things that we're about to face is simply a journey of awareness. This is not to beat you down. This is not to condemn you. This is a journey of awareness so that we can become aware of where we are short. Okay, become aware of the things that need to mature, aware of things that we need to release, things that no longer are serving us. Become aware of those things so that we can know exactly what needs to be purged, right? Don't beat yourself up. There's no such things as a mistake, okay? Not at all. These are simply moments in time. That's it. You just had a moment. All right. A moment of a lapse of judgment, a moment of weakness, a moment of not remembering who you were, just a moment. Those are isolated events. These things, you all, the things that you have gone through, the quote unquote mistakes that you've made, whatever, they are literally not telling of who you are as a person. But our journey here is to align who you are as a person to your actions and what you do and how you decide with your decision making and, you know, the people that you choose, the people that you connect with and all of those things. That is what we are doing, making sure that who we are aligns with what we produce. Okay. That's what this journey of forgiveness is, because some of us need to release these things. Some of us have been sitting in bitterness and anger and hate and rage and unforgiveness for far too long. Okay. All right, here we go. This book that we're reading through is written by my coach. My coach. She's amazing. Oh my goodness, she's amazing. She's also been in the news here these last couple of weeks. Miss Iyanla Van Zandt with the infamous question, would you date a bus driver? Okay, listen, she asked one question and child, they done turned up the internet about this one question. But in any case, the book that we're reading is written by her. And this is, again, Forgiveness, 21 Days to Forgive Everyone for Everything. It's amazing. It is an amazing book, and we're collectively going through it one by one until we get to day 21, okay? Day 8. I forgive my weaknesses and failures. God has condemned me not, no more do I. God does not condemn me with his thoughts about me. Why then would I deny his thoughts and choose thoughts that condemn me? With my own choice of thoughts, I make my reality, my self-perception, my perception of everything that seems to happen to me. I choose everything that I see. I choose everything that I see. Man, oh man, oh man. Let me tell you something. That in and of itself is not just about what you physically see with your eyes. Okay, that can also be about what you see in your thought space, what you see in your heart space, what you see in your spiritual space. I choose what I see. I choose what I see. Even in other people, you can choose to see them as they're in a positive light, or you can choose to see them in a negative light. You can choose to hate them, or you can choose to love them. You can choose to support them, or you can choose to leave them where they stand. Okay? I choose what I see. Okay? All right, here we go. Forgiveness Friend Story by Reverend Lydia Ruiz. In August 1993, his story was reported in the New York Daily News. After watching an HBO movie entitled Strapped, a 15-year-old boy decided to reenact the story in his own life. He went out to Greenwich Village in New York City. He returned home with a heart filled with anxiety. He was unable to pull the trigger. Plan B. He decided to shoot out a window toward the basketball park filled with players. My mother had just returned home after completing a 9-day rosary vigil for a neighbor who had lost her mother. Her mother was preparing her dinner when he pulled the trigger. The first time I saw him, it was in Judge Judy's courtroom. She was a courtroom judge before she became a television icon. In classic Judge Judy style, she asked, "Well, what do you have to say for yourself, young man?" He stood stark still, glaring ahead of himself, as if he were watching television. He had nothing to say. According to the defense attorney, his mother was an active alcoholic who was not in the courtroom. My mother was dead. Yet for some reason, I was sitting in court feeling sorry and sadness for the child who had senselessly murdered her. She was the bedrock of my foundation. I hated him for what he had done. Stupid kid. My mother's death made me an orphan at age 37. I grew up in hardcore streets of New York City, Spanish Harlem, where the street rules were: don't cuss in front of my mother, and you better not talk about my mother, and I will kill you if you touch my mother. This was all well and good when I was talking to my peers, but a kid? How was I supposed to retaliate? How would I avenge her death? My family, friends, and the neighborhood who knew my mother as the praying hairdresser were all outraged, looking at me, wondering, like I was, what I was going to do. There were marches and protests to influence his sentences. The local politicians she had worked with used her death as a springboard to advance their careers. It was an opportunity to extract justice for a senseless murder and a forgotten community. But I couldn't sleep at night. My eyes were so swollen from crying, I could barely see. No matter where we were or what was going on, every now and again my sister would let out these blood-curdling screams in an effort to release her pain. It was unbearable. The possibilities were unspeakable. I wanted revenge. I wanted justice. I wanted to hurt someone, anyone, as if that would make my pain easier to bear. One night, I met with an old associate who I knew had a gun. He said he knew I would come. I wondered why he thought this was what people were waiting for and what was expected. It was like my legs had a mind of their own. I went to the one place I knew my mother would want me to be, the church. It was her second home. She cleaned it, decorated it, and sat there many of times in the echoic silence. I sat in her pew. I called out her name. Unlike many other times, this time she didn't answer. I called out to God. His response was clear. You have been sick for too many years. The freedom your mother prayed for is here. Your addiction is now released. What will you do? What have you learned from the gift of living? How will you go on to get your life in order? Forgiveness immediately came to my mind, but I was too angry and hurt even to consider it. Who needed forgiveness anyway? Was it me for spending so much time in addiction and away from my mother? Or was it the damaged, dysfunctional child who had taken her life? Forgiveness felt like a plan in the future, not for the justifiable pain of the moment. Forgiveness was what God would do for him. It wasn't my job. I had to wake up without my mother in my childhood home. I had to clean up all of the stuff she left behind. I had to look through her things and discover her own soul searching that she had documented in her Bible. I found her handwritten notes, her prayers to God. As I read them, I realized how blessed I was to have had a mother who had prayed for me. Those prayers helped to soften my heart. I thought about her murderer, a child with a television and a gun, who had no guidance or support. A boy who did not have a mother like mine. I remember how happy my mother had been when I finally got clean. She was so proud of me. I wondered if his mother had ever prayed for him, or if she had been drunk all of his life. What could I do to preserve her prayers? This time she did answer. The same love and prayers you received, the ones that change your life, are the same prayers you offer for others. But I wanted him to suffer. For the next 3 years, I was absolutely miserable. Sleepless nights, exaggerated mood swings, feelings of loss and hopelessness that I could not shake. When I thought about him and my dead mother and me not doing anything about it, the anger became unbearable. How can I pray for him? How can I forgive him? Who and what would I become if I continued holding on to unforgiveness? I felt right in my position, but wrong in my soul. I felt disconnected from God, which I knew meant I was disconnected from my mother. It was all ego, edging God out so I could keep my self-righteous feelings. It was the ruthlessness of my ego reigning supreme in my mind. So what do I know about forgiveness? Forgiveness is a silent, intimate teacher. She is always ready to bring the lessons you need, whether or not you want to learn. Forgiveness is a mother who soothes the rough edges of your life, enabling the willing heart and mind to surrender. I had to make a choice. I chose peace. I chose a solid, intimate relationship with God as the path to an eternal relationship with my mother. Forgiveness is the path to peace. It doesn't have to make sense, and you don't have to want to do it. What I wanted was to create a new street code for myself. Through forgiveness, God now had a way to speak to me. I still hear it most of the time. It is the voice of love. I now know that forgiveness is the voice of love that turns all weaknesses into strength. That is good. Everything, actually, you all, everything is centered and filtered through love. If you don't have that love portion intact, it is difficult. It is difficult to navigate through this thing called life. I'm telling you, we would always want to retaliate. We would always want to get revenge. We would always want to, we would be justified in it. That's the thing. We would be justified in our reactions as opposed to responses. If either of us, I know I've never experienced the feeling that Lydia Ruiz experienced in losing her mother. Thankfully, my mom is yet living. Thankfully, my father is yet living. However, my mother's mother and father are not. My father's mother and father are not. I don't know that feeling. And I'm not looking forward to learning what that feeling is. Okay? But when that day comes, because one thing is guaranteed, we are all guaranteed to leave here. But when that day comes, right? My prayer is that they transition naturally, having gave up the ghost when they wanted to. I don't ever want to fathom losing my parents to the hands of someone senseless and doing things because they were angry in a moment. Someone's momentary heat and passion has cost the life of someone I love. I don't ever want to know that feeling, because I would have to be faced with these same questions. How do you forgive? Do you forgive? When do you forgive? Oh my goodness. We have no clue on how to react to something as huge as this. But let's bring it back home for those of us who don't know any of this pain. What about if somebody betrayed you? What about that? What about if somebody lied on you and it caused you to lose something near and dear? A person, a job, an opportunity, a thing, an item. What did we do in those situations? And then how did we react then versus how would we react now? Because that would determine the level of growth or the work that we've done. That would determine if we've learned our lessons from the times past. Understand that every single thing, and we may not understand it. My goodness, a lot of this stuff, universally speaking, we have no clue why it has to happen or why it even took place. Like, why did her mother have to be killed? We don't know. Why do so many things have to happen? There's a lot of whys that we ask often. I know if you're like me, then you ask the questions to why. Certain things just simply don't make logical sense. But that's the thing, because is it supposed to? Is it supposed to make logical sense? Is it supposed to feel good to your rationale? To your analytical space? Or is there a deeper purpose, for your spirit, for your emotional space, for your body at times, for your future, for your purpose and where you're going? We have no idea why half the things that take place. But we know on the other side of it, we can look back and say, wow, I never would have thought that this thing would have come full circle like this. It's really something, because in those moments you realize that everything, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, everything worked together for our good. Everything. All of the scars that we have endured, for some reason, they made us wiser. Hopefully. All of the experiences that we experienced, for some reason, we're better today as a result of it. Now, would we want to willingly go back through the stuff? Absolutely not. Do we regret things? I don't. Did things hurt during those seasons? Of course, obviously. But if I were to regret anything that has taken place over the course of my life, that is regretting the lesson that it brought me. That is regretting who I am today. Because who would I be today had I not gone through, endured, and gained the confidence through it, the victory through it, overcome it, achieved it, accomplished it, all of those things? Who would I be today? I would be someone totally different. And I'm going to tell you, call it what you wanna. I love me, honey. I think I'm pretty fly. And I can almost guarantee that you are too. As a result of the things that you've gone through, as a result of the life that you've lived thus far, Something that you endured and overcome 10 years ago will be very instrumental in something 10 years from now. Isn't that beautiful how that happens? So should we really be angry or allow anger or unforgiveness to wear us like a coat, or we wear it like a robe? Or should we really look back at those circumstances? This takes maturation. I'm telling you, it takes maturity. Should we really look back at those circumstances and send gratitude to those things? Listen, I didn't like it. Be clear. I didn't like it. I didn't love it. It didn't feel good. I didn't like you for it. None of the stuff. However, as a result, now that I look back on it, I'm on the other side of it, and I'm wiser because of it. I must send gratitude to that instance, to that moment, okay? To that impartation and that influence in my life then, because if not for that, I wouldn't be who I am today. That is what you call radical forgiveness. Radical forgiveness, all right? All righty, let's go on. Daily forgiveness process reminders. This is the process and how we can forgive, how we go about forgiving and things like that, okay? Number one, find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed for at least 30 to 60 minutes. Find that place. Number two, still your mind for at least 5 minutes or listen to a stillness meditation. Still your mind. Quiet yourself, much like what we did before we started. Number three, read the forgiveness prayer, once silently and once aloud. We're going to get into the forgiveness prayer. And if you have the book, then you'll have all of this information in front of you. So each focus, you got to, read the forgiveness prayer. Read it out loud, read it silently to yourself, and then read it out loud. You want to put it in the atmosphere. Scan the emotional triggers list. There's an emotional triggers list that accompanies each book. And depending on the focus that we're focusing on each week, your emotional triggers, they will differ. Okay. So today's triggers will be different versus last week's triggers or next week's triggers. Okay. So go over that list and scan the list and realize which one. When you look at your weaknesses and failures, realize which trigger feels like it's connected to this issue. Okay. Number 5, write out the 12 forgiveness statements for each day's topic on thinking, judging, and believing in your forgiveness journal. That's what we're about to do. That's why I told you to grab your notebook and your pen before we got started, okay? Number 6, perform your Pro EFT forgiveness tapping sequence. Again, if you have the book, then you'll know exactly how to execute this on your own, okay? Number 7, process the thoughts and feelings consciously through your forgiveness journal reflection. So you want to reflect. Okay? Number 8, listen to the gratitude meditation. There is one there's a CD that accompanies the book. But if you have a gratitude meditation, please listen to that as well. And then number 9, complete the day's practice in quiet reflection or with your meditative music. Number 10, always be sure to do something good for yourself today. Okay? All right. Forgive myself for judging my weaknesses and failures. Today's forgiveness practice is about forgiving what we judge as weaknesses within ourselves and the experiences we perceive as failures. Weaknesses and failures can keep you stuck in shame, guilt, and self-doubt. As human beings, we are prone to prize perfection. When we judge ourselves as imperfect, self-criticism will take the place of compassion in our minds and hearts. All things are lessons that God would have us learn. Unfortunately, if we didn't know that class is in session, we can judge the things we do and the things that happen to be bad, wrong, and personal failures. With today's practice, we will take those judgments to the table of forgiveness. You are encouraged to consider relationships, work experiences, hopes and wishes and dreams, and incomplete cycles of actions. Things you began but did not complete. And be sure to forgive the feelings and beliefs about yourself that you have attached to these so-called weaknesses, and failures. Okay, remember, all things are lessons that God would have us to learn. All right, get ready. Here is the forgiveness prayer. Dear Lord, help me. Help me to remember what I desire and to forget what I have done. Help me to forget what I haven't done so that I will remember what I can do. Help me to hear and know your voice when you are guiding me, inspiring me, and leading me into new experiences, new opportunities, and new possibilities. Help me to see new ways of being as I release old ways of seeing. Help me to see new ways of being as I release old ways of seeing. Help me to release. Help me to surrender. Help me today. I rest in thee. I let it be, and so it is. Okay? Grab your pen, grab your paper. Okay? We are about to go into 3 sets of 4 sentences. Okay? 1 is I forgive my mind for thinking. The next set, I forgive myself for judging. And the last set, I forgive myself for believing. Okay? The prefix for the first section is I forgive my mind for thinking. You want to write that. I forgive my mind for thinking. And then draw a blank after the word thinking, because that you're going to fill in. And then underneath that blank, draw another blank. Underneath that blank, draw another blank. And finally, underneath that third blank, draw another blank. You don't have to rewrite the prefix because they all are the same. I forgive my mind for thinking, okay? You can write that one time and one time only. Okay? Example, I forgive my mind for thinking I am weak when I don't speak up for myself. That is a real thought that I've had about myself once before. But baby, when I opened up that throat chakra, honey, okay, it was the total opposite. All right, here we go. And this takes honesty, you all. It takes transparency. It takes you being honest and real with yourself. All right? Your answers are not to appease another soul. Your answer is for you. Okay? This is a reality check. This is you with you in your own internal mirror. Okay? Here we go. I forgive my mind for thinking I am weak because blank. I forgive my mind for thinking I am weak because blank. Okay, the next statement. I forgive my mind for thinking I am weak when blank. I forgive my mind for thinking I am weak when blank. Third statement. I forgive my mind for thinking I failed at blank. I forgive my mind for thinking I failed at blank. And last statement of this first section, I forgive my mind for thinking I failed when blank. My statement there would have been, I forgive my mind for thinking I failed when my marriage failed. I held on to that thing, that very toxic and dysfunctional thing, all because I didn't want people to think that I was a failure at marriage. Oh, you better know I'm free from that, okay? I had to cut the sucker loose, respectfully. Okay, next section, here we go. The prefix for the next section is, I forgive myself for judging. I forgive myself for judging. The example here. I forgive myself for judging myself as a failure because I was passed over for a promotion at work. That's a real one. We've all probably felt this, okay? The example again, I forgive myself for judging myself as a failure because I was passed over for a promotion at work. Man. Okay, once again, the prefix is I forgive myself for judging myself. Okay, and then you want to draw a blank after myself. Okay, and then underneath, 3 more blanks. Underneath that first line, 3 more lines. All right, here we go. I forgive myself for judging myself as weak because blank. I forgive myself for judging myself as weak because my feeling would be I forgive myself for judging myself as weak because I didn't know how to leave that toxic marriage. I didn't know. Okay. Next statement. I forgive myself for judging myself as a failure because I forgive myself for judging myself as a failure because blank. Third statement. I forgive myself for judging myself as weak when blank. I forgive myself for judging myself as weak when blank. My feeling would be I forgive myself for judging myself as weak when I would be spoken to, emotionally abused, verbally abused, and didn't say anything back. Oh man, that was a lot in that dynamic too. Last statement. I forgive myself for judging myself as a failure when. I forgive myself for judging myself as a failure when. Now, this is a real one. My fill in blank for that would be I forgive myself for judging myself as a failure when I could not hold on to my son while carrying him. I prematurely delivered him at 6 months and then he died. That was 12 years ago. April 24th made 12 years. And for a long time, you talking about for a long time, I carried that guilt. I forgive myself for judging myself as a failure when I couldn't hold my son in my womb. Okay. I am free from that too. Trust me. I don't mourn my son anymore. I celebrate his life. I celebrate the experience that he brought me. I celebrate the ability to be able to hear his heartbeat and to feel his movement and to feel his pure love, uncontaminated love. I appreciate my son. I celebrate him. I venerate him every year. I feel him all the time. Trust and believe. Ain't no mourning going on over here, and definitely no more guilt. Okay. Alrighty, third section. I forgive myself for believing I am weak. Okay. Actually, all of these are I forgive myself for believing I am weak because. So that can be your sentence. I forgive myself for believing I am weak because, and then you do your 4 blanks. Here's an example. I forgive myself for believing I failed in college that I'm too old to go back now. Listen, I am in my 40s and I just received my doctorate. I had to go back myself. You know, trust and believe I've received certifications and all of that between the last time I actually attempted college and things like that. It was for accounting, which is, I am not even close to doing that today. And that's the reason why I stopped it back then, because it would have been a waste of time. I would have been doing it only because that's what my mother did, right? Instead of aligning with my own purpose, I went the route of trying to appease. And then I caught myself before I got into thousands of dollars into debt. And I gathered myself, I aligned with my purpose, and I actually got certifications in the area at which I will be operating in purpose-wise. So I'm 5 times certified in coaching, right? In 5 different areas. And I topped it with the cherry with my doctorate in cognitive behavioral therapy, okay? Purpose, okay? I trademarked the term in purpose, on purpose, 100% of the time. I live by that, right? And so should you. So there it is. Here we go. I forgive myself for believing I am weak because blank. I forgive myself for believing I am weak because blank. The next sentence, same prefix. I forgive myself for believing I am weak because blank. What do you forgive yourself for believing you're weak because of? Okay, third, again, I forgive myself for believing I am weak because blank. I forgive myself for believing I am weak because blank. I'm quite sure that's probably why they repeated it 4 different times, because I'm quite sure we got 4 different answers. Okay, seriously. And last, again, I forgive myself for believing I am weak because. Okay, these are our 12 forgiveness statements. Okay, and these are the ones that we're going to reiterate each and every time we go through this process. Now, with this tapping sequence afterwards, we're going to go through those 12 forgiveness statements that you just wrote. We're going to read them out loud. Okay, when you read them out loud, you're going to be tapping into certain median. Yes, I drew a blank there for a second. Median points. Okay, you're going to tap into your median points, and you're going to say them out loud, and you're going to pay attention to how your gut feels about that statement. How does that make you feel? Like from a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being, oh, this is, I'm carrying this load bad, and 0 being, I'm over this. I'm good. I've gained the victory over it. I carry no shame, no guilt. I understand that it's what was, I use it as a stepping stone to my next, you know what I'm saying? You're kind of, it happened. It is what it is. I got the lesson. I'm cool. Right? So when you read these statements, as you were writing them, I know you gauged what it made your gut feel. Let's normalize not ignoring our guts and the feelings that our guts bring us, because they're bringing us those things for a reason. All right? They're bringing us those things for a reason. So you want to make sure that you are gauging the intensity level of what triggered as you were writing those statements, or even as you read those statements, and as you tap into your meridian points. Okay? You want to neutralize all your subconscious resistance. Okay? Repeat the reverse statements. For every one of these statements that you have wrote out for yourself, you want to now affirm yourself in reversal, saying, instead of, I forgive myself for thinking that I am a failure because my marriage failed, I say now in reverse, I am a prize. I am the wife that was crafted and created by the one most holy, almighty God. I am a gift to every person that I encounter. I am a blessing to the life of those who I encounter. Okay, I'm a phenomenal supporter. I am a wonderful partner. I am a wonderful encourager. Okay, so what you do is you repeat the reverse statements, and you affirm yourself as the opposite of what you had to forgive yourself of. Okay, that's what you do, and you do that as often as you need to, because listen, this book is called 21 Days to Forgive Everyone for Everything, and let's be real, some of these focuses take a little more than one day. All right, which is why we're going through them once a week. We usually meet twice a week. I've reduced us down to once a week. Why? Because some of these focuses, they need more days. Some of these focuses need more days. Some of these things, it's like, no. I mean, I hear you and everything. I know I got to forgive, a yada, yada, yada. But do you know what they did to me? Do you know how they made me feel? You know what I mean? So you have some justifications, but you got to work your way out of that place. And one day, sometimes it's just not enough. All right? So you want to do that. You want to neutralize your consciousness, your subconsciousness. You want to focus on the issue while you're tapping into those meridian points, okay? Go over them over and over and over. Also, check this out. If you're going over this stuff and it gets to be a little too much and you don't want to deal with it today, and you don't want to feel it today, and you just want to eradicate all of that stuff, it's okay. You got 6 more days to do this. Put it on the table. Walk away. Breathe. Allow yourself to breathe. Ground yourself. Calm yourself. And when you're ready, you return back to it. It's not going anywhere. All right? And when you're finished, when you breathe and all of those things, and when you go through and process and reflect and all of that, go back over those statements and recheck the intensity level. By the end of you working through these things, your intensity level should be down at a lower 2, 1, hopefully 0. You should not still be at 8, 9, and 10, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And if that's the case, then you need to do this over. Do this process over. We are ridding ourselves of this stuff, y'all. Ridding ourselves of this stuff. And we don't want to continue to perpetuate that, okay? Don't let that stuff sit in your body. Our bodies, I was just telling someone earlier, your body was beautifully and wonderfully made. None of this stuff is purposed to sit in our being. Only love and higher. Love and higher. It should resonate with our being. Anything under that, anger, rage, bitterness, resentment, jealousy, all of that stuff, unforgiveness, shame, guilt, those are low vibrating frequencies that don't belong to us. They belong to this realm, this planet stuff. We are spirits first. And we resonate from love above, and anything around us. Anything in our lives, anything around us that is not resonating from love and higher, that's your indicator that it needs to go anyway. Okay? Detach from the stuff. Get to love or better, starting with self. It's an inside job. As above, so below. As within, so without. Okay? Who you are is what you emit into the universe. Who you are is what draws to you. Okay, so if you're wondering about why you keep getting the same stuff over and over again, check your levels within yourself, because you're attracting who you are. Okay, all righty. Reflect as we go about this week. You want to reflect on the things that you got, that you're going over, that you're writing, and that you're healing from. Okay, reflect. All right. Here's a statement by Karen Salmanson. It says, instead of slapping your forehead and asking, what was I thinking? Breathe and ask yourself the kinder question. What was I learning? Everything is a learning experience. Every single thing is a learning experience. Okay. There's a lesson in everything if we choose to see it. We're not victims at all. At all. Nowhere near. There's lessons in everything. Gain the lesson so that you can pass the test, so that you can move on and go to your next. Okay. All righty. Next week, you all, day 9. Day 9's focus. I forgive my choices. Whoa. I forgive my choices. Okay. The statement here says, I am affected only by my thoughts. I am affected only by my thoughts. Okay. It says, my thoughts can frighten me, but since they are my thoughts, I have the power to change and exchange them. It is in my own best interest to train my mind to be affected only by the thoughts I do desire. I deliberately choose. Come on now. I deliberately, purposefully choose the thoughts I desire. I choose the feelings I experience. I forgive the conflicting ideas that harm me. Come on here. I love it. Next week, that is our focus. I forgive my choices. This week, do the work. Do the work. You deserve the work to be done. Do the work, okay? You all know what it is. We'll see you back here. We are accountability partners. You are not by yourself. This is a journey we're taking together, okay? Don't you dare think you by yourself. Not ever. Not with me. Come on now. I'm Miss B. Mama B to some. Dr. B to new ones, okay? Listen, we are on this journey together. I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely positively nothing you can do about it. Don't you even try. Don't forget to follow. If you need the book, again, inbox, back channel, those things. If you're watching via video, then you see the information on the screen. Okay. Visit my website. Clubhouse is above my head. Always, always, always more. You're more than welcome to go there. You can book a session. You can get a consultation. You can take some of my courses. I do tarot readings. I do oracle readings. I do chakra alignments and openings and things like that. I do self-care work. I do coaching and counseling work. All of those things, self-love work, all of that stuff. So go and get yourself a session with me on the website. You can also purchase some purpose wear. We got all types of gear. Okay. I don't talk about it. I am about it. Okay. This ain't just a trend. It's definitely a lifestyle for sure. Okay. Email me at info@biancamissblee.com. You can go visit my Instagram. It's Dr. Miss Bianca Miss B. Lee. Facebook, same, Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee. Twitter, okay, you can go to Bianca Miss B. Lee. And YouTube, Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee. Okay, now, for those of you all who are on my Patreon or know about my Patreon, it is Mama B's Kitchen. Now, there on the Patreon, what we don't do is the things that we discuss here. There is about your spiritual superpower. Okay, we do work in there. Okay, I get you tuned up, trained up, tuned up, aligned with who you are spiritually, cosmically, all of those things, so that you can produce that power on this earth, so that you can get the best out of this life that you're supposed to get out of this life. That is a monthly membership, $25 only. Trust me, you get your money's worth and more, because I'm in there teaching. All right. All righty. So listen here. You all listen. Like I stated before, I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely, positively nothing that you can do about it. Don't you even try it. We will see you back here next week, Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Divine Femininity United. Peace.